because it's not us, ask them to acknowledge it. Yep. Good. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Henry Bass, president of New River Robotics Association, and we are here tonight to talk about what to expect August 1st and beyond, as far as the momentous undertaking you've indicated an interest for with the first LEGO League Challenge team. And it's exciting. It can be a little bit overwhelming, and we're going to address some of those concerns and practicality. Got a great group of folks on this to help us. Next to me is Ethan Bass, my son, who's been through many years of first LEGO League and done both referee and judge positions. Also, we have Lisa Bass, my wife, who is currently a LEGO coach, as well as past referee and past judge and volunteer coordinator, and does a lot of the volunteer role coordination for tournaments. And Shelley Stoddard joining us, longtime coach and also a past judge and frequent volunteer, and actually part of the first Chesapeake team, as well as a trainer for First nationally. And especially honored to have Caitlin joining us as the one of the executive directors, if that's the right term, Caitlin, for DC, Virginia, FLL for the whole region. So thanks, Caitlin, for being here. And by all means, chime in. We're a small enough group that if anyone has questions or concerns, just raise your hand. We'll try to get you. And if I'm not noticing you, you can go ahead and interrupt us, because I am going to fill up the screen with some of our PowerPoints here. All right. So with that, let me share this. There we go. Okay. So our slide is sharing. Y'all kind of wave and tell me that it's working for you. Excellent. With that, we're gonna have Lisa tell us a little bit about what to expect.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Lisa Bass, and I hope that if you have registered your team already, you should have received an email and possibly a package in the mail containing a meeting guidebook, engineering notebook, and the rule book. For those of you that ordered the competition kit, well, the mat comes in a bigger box like this, and lots of little baggies. Don't open them yet. As well as, and look very carefully in your box to make sure you have these Velcros. Velcro little tabs help you keep all those Lego pieces you're about to build get stuck to that mat. So as you know, August 1st at noon, something happens.
What could it be?
That is when the whole world, and I mean the whole world, will get to see the first LEGO League Masterpiece video release of this year's challenge. So yay, the kids will be excited, but the coaches will have to decide a couple things. One, do you watch the video for the first time all together so that they can be wowed out, and you can do it in a party atmosphere, like a kickoff party if you wish? Or do you as a coach want to watch the video first and then show it to your students later? And that maybe have to be needed for public school teams. Or you can wait till later to watch it as the whole team, but be aware some kids might take a sneak peek.
Yeah. So after seeing the video, it's time to brainstorm. And many of you are instructors or familiar with brainstorming techniques. You want to get people's reactions first and let people talk about how they feel about what was just evolved. As teachers and coaches, we ask questions, and that's to be underlined, that throughout the season, your job is not to know the answers. Your job is to ask the questions and help the team find the answers. So quite often, you'll want to watch the video again once or twice. Start looking at the rule book. There will, at the same time that the video is released, they release a very complete rule book. And it's important to know the rules are exactly what the rules are. So if the rules don't say that your robot has to roll under a gate, don't assume just because there's a gate on the mat that your robot has to roll under the gate. And that's often a topic with the referees, is making assumptions that aren't there. You want to use both small and large groups depending on what the size of your team is, and look at what does each mission represent. Obviously, this year's theme is masterpiece, a lot of creativity and arts involved. So what are these missions about in relationship to artistic expression? And then holistically, what does the robot need to do? Is it there to lift something, to push something? Is it going to collect something, drag it, grab it, drop it? What are, maybe we can categorize missions that way. And which home base do you want to start from? I haven't seen the video yet, but I saw the teaser, and I saw that there are once again this year 2 home bases on I guess that's called the east and the west side of the field. And so you might make decisions about where you want the robot to be when. So you kind of start to think about these and gel some ideas, and I will send you a cautionary warning that the kids do like to go for the big flashy thing. There's always 1 or 2 big flashy things on the robot field, and particularly for new teams, I think it's important to do a small win first, something that's close to base. You can point the robot, go get it, bring it back, go get it, and deploy it, or whatever it has to do. Do the small things first before taking on the big flashy things. But kids are also, and coaches are always fascinated by the big flashy things.
So when it comes to brainstorming, you want to make sure that you try various methods, and it has to come from the fact that you have to know your students. Would note cards work for everybody to write down their ideas just as quickly as they can? Should you have groups assigned, and maybe they can write their ideas on a whiteboard or some paper? But as you do this and come up with all of these maybe harebrained ideas, make sure you gather all those notes, take photos of them, and really let them have fun with it. It's got to be their idea. They have to be able to grab onto the most unusual solutions and problems and ways to solve it. But that's part of the learning and problem solving skill. So I highly recommend that. For those of you who have ordered a mission mat with all of those little pieces of Legos, just to let you know, you don't know what to build them, because those instructions are not released until noon, August 1st, and they are all online. So having some tablets or some laptops that you can page through to help build everything. They refer to bag numbers. So as you notice here, it says bag number 8 on here. And you want to make sure that you set aside some time. It can take 5 to 8 hours to build all the missions on the map. Now you could let your students do it, but you need supervision. If a field element is not correctly built, it will end up being hard to solve. And then you don't find out, oh, I can't solve it until you get to the competition. Or it may be too easy and it's a little bit harder at the competition. So I really recommend that if you do get your kids involved, that you should make sure that they are being supervised. Now, some coaches just like to build them themselves at home just to kind of avoid that, but that's up to you. In all cases, make sure that you look in the box for these Velcro tabs right here. These are very important. And sometimes they can get hidden in that box. Sometimes they fall underneath a box flap, but these are important to adhere the elements to the mat so that when robots run into them, which they will eventually do, they are there. So what are we going to do now? We've seen the video. We've brainstormed. We've put together the elements. We have the map. What comes next? Well, coaches, I highly recommend that you refer to the team meeting guide that comes with your registration. Now, these can help structure 1 to 2 hour meetings. Now, not everything in those rule books can be used, but you can highlight parts that fit you, your teaching style, your coaching style, but also you need to gauge your students and see what works for them. Now, try to do weekly meetings in September. And then maybe as you move into October, go to 2 meetings. A recommended schedule for a meeting can be a welcome. Hey, let's kind of catch up on things. Some coaches like to do snack time, but we highly recommend that it's healthy, no sugar, or you're going to have hyped up kids. Set and then do a teamwork challenge. Set a time limit for 10 meetings, regardless of whether or not the teamwork challenge is completed, successful, or failed. It's okay. Discuss quickly what went right, wrong, and what can be improved. Review the goals for the meeting, assign student roles, and record, as always, with notes and photos in a separate notebook, what you've done for each meeting.
Thanks, Lisa. So related to that, we want to talk a little bit just about job assignments. Teams do this different ways. You let the students decide what best serves the team. You know, do you want to be a builder? Do you want to be a coder? Do you want to be a researcher? Do you want to help strategize? Work on the presentation development, communicate that, all kinds of different roles that you can do. And it does depend on the student and the groups that you have. Some coaches take their team and select one job per kid and they stick with it. That student is always the coder or always the builder or always the one who runs the mission. Other coaches rotate those roles so that everyone gets experience in each of those different roles. I like that. I like to see that students get to be well-rounded in different roles, but there's good reason sometimes to specialize. So in general, you know, you might ask, what do the judges prefer? Well, I think the judges like to see that everybody participates. So if there's a plan and a strategy to how you went about this, that's great. But if everything was dependent on one person and that person missed a meeting, okay, let's talk about that and how did you overcome those challenges? But if everybody does all the roles, that's pretty cool. So for timelines, Lisa?
Unmute.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Sorry, I'm muted. I
There we go.
apologize. I'm sorry, I'm muted. So goal timeline, and Shelley Stoddard and we put together a great time line because competitions are going to be in November. And Caitlin can talk about this if she would like. So far, we're tentatively scheduled for Saturday, November 11th at the Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. It's a great venue. We've been there before. It's an all-day event and lots of fun. So you want to kind of map out how you want to do all the components of a competition because there's 4 different judging areas. Robot design, which includes programming and how you designed your robot. 2, teamwork challenges. 2, then the innovation project. And then all those missions on the table that you've been building and programming your robot for. So we will offer for you after this meeting's over, we're going to offer a not only recording of it, but we're going to include our script to show you the timeline. For example, for an innovation project, you want to select a problem and possible solutions by week 2, and you want to refine a solution by week 3. You want to research and conduct experiments by week 5. Talk to some experts by week 6. Discuss with members of the community for reactions and feedbacks by, say, week 7. Determine your presentation type by week 7 as well. Some teams like to do skits, some like to do presentations, some like to make posters. Judges love to be entertained. They love it when kids are silly. Then you have to build your presentation by week 8 and practice your presentation by week 9. Missions. You should decide what missions to solve in the very first week. Review your options and decide on a robot base. Do you want to stay with a simple tribot? Do you want to add attachments? That's got to be done by week 4. And then you have to decide which side of the mat, the red side or the blue side, do you want to start from. But by week 8, you want to make sure that you have start practicing your launching and have the 2 minute and 30-second, 2 minutes and 30-second time frame in mind. And then you're going to have to print off those programs so you can talk to the judges about how you learned how to program those robots. Teamwork, well, we need a team name. My team was the Gazelles the first year. The second year, they were the Happy Robotic Hamsters. That's what brought the team together, was deciding on their team name. A team logo or even team color is helpful by week 2. And then you have to decide on a uniform by week 3. And then you want to make sure you have plenty of time to order those team uniform parts by week 4. So if you decide on a silly hat, like one team had gecko stuffed animals sewn to a hat, you have to order it in week 4. So it's in time for the competition. So registering for competitions is going to happen approximately the first week in October. And for those that are New River Robotics Association sponsored teams, come in, and part of your grant is we pay for your registration fee to go to this competition. Then you will need to go online to First Inspires, where you had to create your dashboard, do all the training. You have to enter in the names and emails of your team members so that parents can get a link to help fill out consent forms. Those all have to be done before you can go to competition. Now, guess what? You find out, oh my gosh, things are starting to heat up. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're not ready for competition. That's okay. If you're not ready for competition, if you decide you're not ready, it's okay. You can decide, hey, we'll just come to the scrimmage in March. We had teams that did that last year and we had a blast. It was March 6th of last year, but this year it's going to be the first Saturday in March, which I think is the 2nd to 2024. And we had a mini competition. It was so much fun, like it was a regular competition, but it helped the coaches and the students kind of go, I'm more prepared. And that's okay. Now, we do recommend that all coaches should come and visit the local November competition at Roanoke College just to get a sense of what it's like and what is the excitement that is generated here. The all FLL competitions, as well as all FIRST competitions, are open to the public, and we highly recommend that you do that. So please don't get nervous, don't go frustrated, start pulling your hairs out. New River Robotics Association will help you, and if you decide you can't do the competition in November, we truly invite you to come to the March 2024 scrimmage.
That's right. And I think it's important to say that there's a lot in the rule books and a lot of things. We've talked about a research presentation, teamwork. We've talked about the robot missions, and then being ready to talk to judges about all this. And as coaches and teachers and parents, we feel we're not ready. We don't have all that. We're out of time, but so is every other coach in Virginia. And it's okay. And if you go to the event and just see it with the others, it becomes much more clear and solidified. And it's okay. If you don't have a research presentation, the judges still want to talk to you and talk to the kids to gain that experience. So whether you're there as a visitor or hopefully as an entrant in the competition, and nothing wrong with doing both, go to the competition in November and come to our scrimmage in March too, because it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people forget, oh my gosh, what is innovation project? Well, the innovation project is the kids get to problem solve for a situation or a problem that's in their community. And we always say, look at the mission table components as inspiration for a problem. For example, last year, it was superpowered, and it was about energy. And on our competition mat, there was a hydroelectric dam. And from there, kids could get the idea, oh my gosh, we have a big lake that's right next door to us in Pulaski County, and it has a hydroelectric dam. So exploring that based on an idea that we saw on the map kind of can get you going. But it could be others. It could be somebody knows an art teacher and they can't get certain supplies, or somebody says, hey, there's not enough outdoor space for types of musics and drama and movies. These are problems that the kids can find, and they get to come up with the creative solutions for them. And the more exciting and wacky the solution, the better, because the kids can get excited about it. So don't panic about that. If you ever have any questions about how to do that, please feel free to contact New River Robotics Association. We'll help get you in the right direction. We know a lot of experts that are very supportive of our organization that we can get you in touch with.
Thanks, Lisa. And there's also, is it a rule? It's an unwritten rule. There's not PowerPoint in the research presentation. We try to encourage folks to do a skit, do a hands-on presentation, sing a song about what you learned and what you did. So you've got 5 minutes to kind of present what you did, but then there's also going to be about 5 minutes of judge question and answers. That's the chance to clarify what they're doing. But above all, yeah, have fun with it. So Ethan's going to talk a little bit about the mission and the 2.5 minutes on the robot board.
Absolutely. So we touched on this previously. You only get 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the students are, of course, attracted to something big and something flashy. And if you go and watch the teaser video, you'll see there's a lot of really flashy stuff this year. It's all themed around artwork, and there's a lot of moving parts. But you got to choose what you can do consistently. If it only works on Tuesdays after it rained, then that might not be a program that you run at the competition. And you really have to narrow down which ones you want to choose, and start with, so as Coach Henry mentioned, start with the easy points. Get that every time, and maybe that's the first mission that you run on the table, so you can just guarantee that you have a good baseline of points. And then as you progress throughout the season and as you progress throughout the competition, consider ramping it up. So start going for the stretch goals, start going for the missions far away from home, and send your robot out. And it's okay if your robot messes up. You're allowed to touch it and bring it back. There is a small touch penalty every time that you do that. But sometimes it's beneficial to say, hey, I just got a bad start on that mission. Let's run it again. Let's see if it can do it this time. But you got to kind of manage the clock sometimes. When you're doing those 2 minutes and 30 seconds practices, you can say, okay, we've got 1 minute left. Let's try this mission one more time. That's a big point scoring mission. There's a lot that goes into it. And so much of it you'll learn from experience and from working with other teams. And so that's a nice segue into one of my favorite things to talk about, which is teamwork challenges and doing whatever you can to get your students in the spirit of first, because we're not like, just a sport off the top of my head, football, where it's all about crushing your opponents and, we rock, you stink. It's about cooperation, and that's a copyrighted phrase under the first umbrella. So getting your students into the spirit of first takes continuous practice. And so the way we like to recommend doing that, and I believe Coach Lisa touched on this, is start off your meetings with a teamwork challenge. This gets them excited. This gets them in the mood for working together. So the format that we usually like to do it is that you, the coach, present to them the rules for the challenge. Maybe it's throw this ball back and forth 96 times while reciting every prime number. You give them a specific set of rules, and then you give them time to discuss it. And while they discuss it, you are there and available to answer questions, but you're also observing how they are discussing this teamwork challenge. Are they talking over each other? Are they fighting my idea is the best idea? Or does a leader emerge? Does somebody step up and say, guys, I think we should do it this way. how do we feel about that? And you really get a great chance to observe their attitude while they're trying to figure out the way to do this. And then you watch them start the teamwork challenge. Again, are they following their plan? Are they elbowing each other? Are they breaking down and crying when things aren't going quite the way that they want them to? And as a coach, you're there to observe, watch how they try to solve this evil little challenge. And then at the end, you give them feedback. You say, Timmy, I think you did great to step up and be a leader. Sally, I think you did great to listen politely and not interrupt. But next time, feel free to jump in with your own ideas, and you give them this feedback so that they're continuously hearing about how to get in the spirit of first, how to get in the attitude of gracious professionalism and cooperation. And we usually like to encourage a little bit of creative thinking too. So while you're giving them that feedback, say, hey, did I ever say that you had to throw the ball? Maybe you could have just passed it around. And did I ever say that you had to go in order of the prime numbers? Maybe you just say 1, 1, 1, 1. And just clever little things to get them to think outside the box and just say, oh, okay, that's how we should think about these. That's how we should break down these barriers. And we actually have a list of those up online on one of our websites, and we're happy to share some ideas if you're ever stuck thinking of one. But anytime that you go online and look up teamwork challenge, there's a whole bunch of great ones out there that have clever little tricks or anything like that. And if any of you have ever been to like corporate team building exercises or excursions, I'm sure you know the kind of crazy, wacky things that I'm talking about. And so a lot of this meeting, we've been setting expectations for what we would like you to do, what's required to not just participate, but to do great in this. And so I get the honor of talking a little bit about what some of my students would like to do to help you. So I am the head coach of FTC Team 4924. So we build a little bit bigger robots out of aluminum. And we are kind of the next step up in the program. And we recognize that there are so many awesome FLL teams in this area, and we wanted to play a bigger role in helping you guys out this season. And so some of the resources that we're ready to offer you is on August 1st, we plan on doing what we call a robot in 30 hours, where all of my students, we're going to try to solve the challenge and build basic little robots to try to complete as many missions as we can in 30 hours after the challenge is released. And we're going to record videos of us doing that, and we'll share them with you to say, hey, here's what we had trouble with on this project, or here's a program that we think you guys can get right away, super easy. We're not going to tell you all the answers, but we hope to be able to kind of gently guide you and give you a place to start. We're not going to have the most sophisticated solution out there, but we want to kind of get the ball rolling, show you what's hard, show you what might be a little bit easier. So be on the lookout for that at the Redbeard Pandas YouTube channel, and we hope to start getting those videos out like August 4th. So 2 or 3 days after the kickoff challenge. Another resource, this one we kind of hope to, instead of just having 14 separate FLL teams scattered throughout the New River Valley, and I know we have some people up in Roanoke, instead of having separate teams, and it's all very mysterious as to what each other is up to, we're hoping to encourage more sharing of victories. We want to celebrate what each of the teams is doing well. So we wanted to start kind of a weekly newsletter called the Win of the Week. And the way that we hope this will work is that anytime your team meets and you have a fantastic victory, maybe you came up with your team name, maybe you got that one mission that was just really bugging you down, we want you to, take pictures and send it to nrrobotics@gmail.com and say team number blank, win of the week, and then like a brief title. So team 52615, win of the week, did our first trial run, and then have a picture and then like a little brief write-up about it. And so me and my students, we're going to go through that, and we'll every week we'll pick out who we think is the win of the week, and we'll advertise that, and we'll celebrate you. This is kind of a pacing tool, just to show you here's what another team has done, and also if you need help with this specific aspect, here's a team that you can reach out to. Here's a team that's already done that, and encourage you all to work together and check in on each other and maybe find some new ideas. And finally, I think both Coach Lisa and Coach Henry talked about this. The judges love to know whenever you share your project with somebody. So if your students came up with a fantastic idea for how to improve art in the world or anything like that, the judges love it if you can share that idea with others, get some feedback. And so we are more than happy to be those other people. You can schedule a time with us. We'll come and listen to you. And we've given a fair number of presentations, my students and I. And so we're happy to say, hey, that was fantastic. Try speaking up a little bit. Try turning your face towards the judges. Or we could just listen and ask questions, because a lot of us have gone through judge training, and we could kind of give you a practice judge run before you go to the actual competition. And Coach Henry mentioned this. If you need experts to talk to, we can reach out to our network of experts. We could say, hey, who would be a good fit to give you some advice on this project? We know. Maybe we could get in touch with P. Buckley Moss and kind of start a conversation there. And so we hope to be more of a resource to you all, so that way that it's not just congrats, go at it, we'll check in with you in November. We want this to be a continuous dialogue anytime that you need help, and just continuously celebrate the fantastic work that all of you are doing. And I'll pass it back over to Coach Lisa and Coach Henry to talk about any other resources.
Thanks, Ethan.
So speaking of resources, please go to New River Robotics Association web page. There is a special First Lego League Challenge page that also shows you all the teams, especially all the new teams that have been registered. We just registered a new one this evening. Yay! And you can reach out if you need contact information to reach out to them. We're glad to help you with that. Also, the Virginia DC FLL webpage has wonderful resources. And as we mentioned in the beginning, this meeting is being recorded, and there's also a big list of everything we talked about today on paper. And that includes over 14 different links to resources that have been of value to myself as a coach and other coaches that we sponsor through the New River Robotics Association, and can be helpful in many different ways. So we just greatly appreciate your time. I did see one question in the chat, because it is open to questions now. It said, what is the registration fee? And Caitlin was kind enough to answer that it's $250 for a team to register with first. And when it comes to the competition, Virginia DC FLL will be collecting $150. So if anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat, or please just speak up. Thank you so much for attending tonight.
And if you don't mind, Lisa, I'd like to throw out just one other resource, and I'm going to put it in the chat in a second. Starting in August, we are going to be hosting every Wednesday at 7, bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, calls. We'll have our head officials there. We'll record every call, but we're also going to be focusing on a different topic. So we know I was a new coach at one point. I walked into it not knowing anything. You don't have to be an expert. It is totally okay to figure things out as you go. You're there to support the kids. And so if you do have questions, we'll have our regional head referee, our regional head judge. We'll have other experienced coaches on the calls. So I'm going to put that chat in the link right now. Or excuse me, that link in the chat right now. But it's just another resource. We're here for you along the way. And I just want to give a huge thank you to New River Valley Robotics Association. You guys are rock stars for supporting teams through grants. I also see Brian Clark on the call doing a lot of great work in the area to encourage robotics. And these just amazing opportunity for kids that they're going to remember forever. They might not remember every single mission, but they're going to remember the feeling of being a part of a team. They're going to remember those successes. And so just a huge thank you to everyone on the call and everyone who's going to watch the call in the future. So again, thank you so much. I've been in your shoes. You're going to be awesome this season.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Shelley, did you have any comments?
I think Shelly had to drop off at 7:30 to go to a First Education call. She has another call with First. It's a busy time as we get ready for the season.
Education never stops. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I do have a few questions, and I'm not sure if this venue is the perfect venue for it. So I maybe should wait until we could have a private conversation. Although, Caitlin, I'd love to pick your brain as well on some of these questions. And my questions relate to the fact that I very much would love for my other sons to have the first LEGO League experience. Now, I know full well my middle son, it's not going to happen. He is a freshman in high school and the window is closed. But I still do have one son who is in 7th grade. And as some of you all know, I've tried really hard to get Pulaski County to implement first LEGO League teams at the schools. And Andrew was the first, he finally, I think, was the missing piece to that equation. He did a presentation to the school board, and it was his presentation that I think allowed us to successfully get $10,000 allocated to starting first LEGO League teams. And every every elementary school is going to have a first LEGO League team this year. And I think we have two highly competent and capable coaches that they're the gifted education teachers, and they're going to be coaching those teams. But as I said just a moment ago, I still would love for my my youngest son to have the first LEGO League experience. And he is in middle school. And back in the spring, I met with Dan Hood. Dan Hood is the engineering and robotics teacher at Pulaski County Middle School. And he said that that as much as he would like to do it, that he was doing some things with Tim Farmer to dovetail their curriculums, and that he just didn't feel like first LEGO League was going to fit with what he was doing. But one of the questions I have, and I guess I can ask this in this venue, I saw an advertisement for a robotics coach at Pulaski County High School. And of course, that was Tim Farmer. And I'm just wondering if Tim, do you all know, did Tim move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did he?
Yeah, we can talk about that later, Brian, but yeah, Tim's moved on.
Tim's moved on. Okay. All right. Because if Dan Hood is maybe not trying to dovetail his curriculum, maybe there's an opportunity there. And what I would like to do, but what there's only so many hours in the day, and I am still planning on coaching the touring squad this year, and that's priority number one. But I am contemplating volunteering to coach a first LEGO League team at the middle school. If I can get some support, and in particular an assistant coach that would assist me with that. And it would be great if Dan could be that person. It would be even better if Dan could be the head coach and I could be the assistant coach. But
and Brian, we can help you out there, because I just had a contact from a person that has a middle school son that they, if they don't find a co-coach, they're not going to continue. So we can talk after this meeting about that further. So there may be somebody that could help you out.
Okay. All right. Great. I would love to talk to you all about that.
Okay. I see
I
we've
think
got a question.
Javier
There we go. Yeah.
Go ahead and read it out loud, Henry.
Javier says he has a situation, a question, and a request. Did he put more than that?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, there
Yes.
we go.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing all this. So the situation, I have no team, meaning what we need are the students, besides the coaches. You need the students. If there are no students, even if you have the coaches, which is also difficult. But anyway, the situation is the fact that I'm doing this for SJNA, the St. John Newman Academy. And the thing is that, like, they do it for the opera school, and basically all of them graduated. And that's why I said I have no team, because I don't know who is gonna be interested. And the school starts like the last week in August. So
Right.
the situation is a little bit difficult, because at that point, maybe I can, well, I'm gonna ask who is interested, and I will find out if I will have a team. And then if I can register and blah, blah, blah. And then I will be missing a lot of time already, because it's too late. So now the request is something that I was thinking about is it possible that, like, in order for me not to waste time, that I can order a mat or find out a way to order the material, so that even if they take the entire month of August to deliver these, once the students are back, and I then at that point maybe I can see if we will have a team or not. But at least I didn't waste the time for waiting for the material. And then if I get a team, then I will proceed to register and do the rest. So will that be a request that, I mean, will this be possible to do? Is it crazy to get the material? It's kind of like putting the horse or the carriage in front of the horse. So
Yeah, yeah.
any thoughts or?
You have to register the team before you have access to the competition mat. However, New River Robotics Association has ordered 2 mats this year. So we'll have one that's going to be in the shop for teams to come in and use it. And then we're going to have one that's going to be a spare that we could loan out to you after the Pandas 30 hours FLL days for you to look at. I highly recommend that you talk to your principal about sending out materials now, maybe an application to the students to say, hey, are you interested in that first week of school we get back? We start meeting as a team, or you're welcome to meet here at our New River Robotics Association shop. We have helped other teams have a recruitment event here in which we invited kids from that school to come, and the coach kind of sat off to the side and took notes. And then after that event was over here at the New River Robotics Association shop, she invited certain students to join her team and was ready to start running as soon as the first week of school opened up. So that might be an option for you, but we will find a way to try to keep your program going at St. John Newman.
Yeah, because you guys, we enjoyed working with you guys last year. And so building off of what Coach Lisa said, yeah, so you're saying, you know, how can I tell students about this? How can I talk to students and get their attention? But we find that it's so much better to show them, if at all possible, you know, just show them, even just showing them the robot can take them, can get them excited, even having as Coach Lisa mentioned, just one night where they just do one mission can start a spark that'll really get them interested. So if at all possible, see if you can have a little event.
Yeah, so Javier, I want to say thank you for being willing to be a coach again. It's no easy task, as you've seen. And also, you're not alone. A lot of our schools in Virginia really don't get started, unfortunately, until like mid-September on the project. And as Lisa outlined, it is an aggressive schedule to get everything ready for a competition in mid-November. And you compound that with many schools really haven't started their extracurriculars and other activities until late September, because it's, you know, the priority is education, as it should be. But certainly I think we all agree that the values of what Lego brings is teamwork and working together in a group. And and it shouldn't be neglected. The educational standards are changing to be more teamwork inclusive, and the pendulum is swinging. That's great. How does that help me this season, right? So anything we can do to help along those lines, we certainly want to help. Don't feel like if you miss 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks that it's a no-go from the start.
Yeah.
There still really is a lot of value in putting together a team. We've seen teams come to a competition. They said, we've got one mission that kind of works. Come on, come to the competition, come see what happens. And
Yeah.
they leave the competition with 3 missions that work, because that's the spirit of cooperation. Other teams are there to help you succeed and learn from the event. Just because it's a cool competition doesn't mean you're a loser, right? At the end of it, right? There's one winner or 2 or 3 winners, or actually 4, 5, 6 winners of sorts. But if you leave the competition with more than you came in with, that's a win for sure. And a lot of teams neglect to make time to visit with other teams at a competition, but that's where you learn, because everybody's done it a different way. And that's so cool to see the different ideas and spirit of sharing that happens at first.
And I can tell you as a judge, I had a team that came in where the coach came in and apologized that this was his first year. He didn't understand anything about the innovation project, but the kids came in, they sat down and we talked, and the judges kind of said, well, okay, well, what's this problem going on with construction in your community? And after our, 40 minutes, the kids were really brainstorming some awesome ideas that I said, see, and then you can work on that and you can work on that. And they left the judging session with a really happy feeling. It's like, yeah, because we didn't scold them or anything like that. We worked with them and they left going, wow, that was easier than I thought. And then the next year that team did much better. So we want you to have an enjoyable time, but we want your school to succeed. So feel free to, contact your principal, see if there may be letters or emails can be sent out to all the students and say, hey, this, because you all did very well at the scrimmage. If you remember, I remember that very well. Hey, would y'all like to, come and join this team and experience it? And again, if don't come to competition, don't register for competition, at least come visit it. Or as Henry says, come anyway, and I bet you will leave with more than what you brought in.
Just 2 comments, if I can,
Mhm.
if I may. Yeah, one is related to I forgot. I think it's Ethan Bass. Yeah, the son
Ethan?
of Henry.
Yeah.
One thing I did is before the end of the school year, I actually invited every single grade in SCNA to come and take a look at what we did. So together, like you said, to show them the robot, that was the intention. And we showed the videos that we took at the scrimmage and things like that, trying to get them excited. So that's one thing I did. And I showed this to the SJNA wants only the upper school to be involved, but I invited the 5th graders, which will be in the upper school this year, with the
Right.
intention to like basically get more people or more participation. So at this point, I don't know who will be there or who won't. But anyway, the other comment I have is, I think that we will fall into what Henry Bass said, meaning into this type of aggressive schedule. I don't think we can start in August. I don't see any way we can do that. It would be more like the mid-September. So that's why I was requesting to, and with your help, thank you so much. I'll take you up on the borrowing the math after you are done. Like the first week you'll be, or even if you are done by the end of October, August. It should be still good timing for us. And thank you for doing that. I will also do my part and try to see if I can reach out before the school starts. So thanks.
And you're not alone. Let us know what we can do to help.
Evan, you good?
Yeah, actually, I have a question about the board for the math. Are we gonna make the board by ourselves, or is there any help?
Yeah, it's a pretty simple process with a sheet of plywood and a couple of 2x4s or 2x3s. There is a plan up on First for how to build those. We just built a bunch of them for Pulaski. They asked us to build some tables. And I'm seeing hand signals from Lisa. We do have one that is available. So so get in touch with us after the meeting. And we
Is
can
it
do
is
that.
it fitable in a regular SUV car?
It's a little bit bigger than that. So
Can you put a sheet of plywood in a regular SUV?
Okay.
Yeah, we might have to put it on the roof, or we might have to talk about our special delivery fee, but we have pickup trucks we can deliver. Yeah.
Okay. So
We can make arrangements for
when
that.
can we pick it up over there?
Yeah. Okay.
Hi,
We'll
Lisa.
connect with you offline. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this is Xiaoyan. Thank you so much for all the support. I remember that when I love your earrings. By the way, they're so yeah. I remember that you said that you support the table, like you built the table for us to borrow.
Yes.
I don't think that we can handle the making of the table, but I would really appreciate if we could borrow one from you. Is it
Yes.
okay? We can get in touch with you right after this meeting, through email.
Maybe
Yep.
maybe I can try make one. That's okay.
Yeah, I'll get
Yeah.
in touch
Thank
with
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please get in touch with
take a
me.
look
We
at it.
we made 8 of them. We promised 8. We promised 5 of them to Pulaski County. So we have 3 that
Okay.
if they are available. So we can schedule a day, put it in the back of a truck and deliver it to you. You just tell us if, and all you need to do is put a folding table underneath it. So if you have a folding table,
It's a dog, big dog actually.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
yep. Some people leave it on the ground too.
yeah, that's fine. Leave it on the ground too. Yeah, that's fine.
great question.
So we can help with that.
Unless you have a cat.
Dog 走了。
Bradley, how about you? Are you good?
Yeah, I had a couple comments, not necessarily questions. Well, except for
Okay.
Lisa, is it okay if we get one of those tables for KIPS?
Montgomery County Public Schools has confirmed that they do have them in the warehouse. You just have to ask
Oh.
for them. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll get him to
so-
do them.
yeah, your principal needs to talk to Mark Husband and,
Yes, I know, Mark. Yeah,
yeah, he knows exactly where they are.
okay.
They were hidden a couple years ago when we were looking for one for Lori Adamo and the Gilbert Linkus team.
Yeah,
And then Miss Peacock at Christiansburg Middle School, and with some little
Yeah.
hints as to when we put it where it was like the lost ark in that big warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones movie.
I totally understand. I know Mark. I can contact him or get Dr. C to contact him.
Yeah.
This goes to kind of Javier's comments about St. John Newman and just starting late and whether it's worth it or not. And I totally agree with what was said on this call. I've not done FLL before, but I've done other student competitions. And I do think it's beneficial for students to enter the competition, even if they don't do as well as they hope, because they will learn more by doing that than not competing at all. And so I do think it's important for students to just see the process, even if they get into it late, and just do the best they can, and they will learn a ton from doing that. My other comment was to Brian, because and we can talk offline more about this. I don't want to take up their time to do that, but I know Rob and Tara very well, and I know you got some new superintendents coming in, and they would be totally supportive of this. I've done work with them a lot. I also know the CTE director pretty well. But what we did at KIPS is like no teachers are coaches. So we're doing 3 new teams at KIPS this year, and every single coach is a parent. And I'm just doing everything that's parent volunteer, because I just don't want to burden the school or the teachers any more work. Now they're welcome to come. But so I don't know your situation exactly, so I apologize if I'm not getting it exactly correct. But I just counted on the principal to send messages to the parents of the grade levels we want, and it was total parent volunteer. And so I'm coordinating for KIPS. I'm overseeing the whole thing, but we do have 2 coaches per team, and they're all parents. And so we are just taking that route and just doing it ourselves, so we don't have to depend on teachers to feel burdened or take the time to do that. So that's just the approach we took.
Thank you. I really appreciate the comments there. And part of my dilemma is that we're out of room. Our First Tech Challenge team operates out of the Pulaski Community Youth Center, and we have 2 very small rooms, and there's no way to operate a First Lega League team out of either one of those rooms. We're just, the rooms are fully taken up with our FTC operations there. And I need room, and I would love for the middle school to say, yeah, we've got a place for you. You know, we've got a place where you can keep your table and you can meet there after school. And I feel like it would help if maybe we collectively were to approach the school about that.
Okay.
There may be a business out there that might be willing to loan you some space. I mean, the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center has been wonderful, but perhaps there's a business out there that we can kind of put out a plea for that, hey, we just need this much space, that if you happen to have some, we would love to start a First Lega League, and that is their way to be a sponsor, is to kind of loan you space.
Yeah,
So
I like
I
that idea.
know Henry has some contacts through the Pulaski Chamber of Commerce. Hey, support STEM by doing this. So we can work with you on that.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you.
It's not an easy solution. I don't want to trivialize that, but certainly it takes a little bit of resource coordination, but in general, we found the community is very supportive of this because it's good for our kids. It's good for our environment. I think even when you find an alternate location, then you got to worry about transportation. But it can be done, and parents that care can carpool and that sort of thing. And I wish it was more available and accessible, but maybe after seeing it this year, next year will be easy. So it's the first one that's the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. We will publish this online, as including the notes and a list of resources that we have that maybe have helped you. We're excited for August 1st. Certainly appreciate our wonderful first professionals that joined us tonight. And thank all of you for being so interested in coaching and making a great difference for the kids in our region. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yep. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey.